Happy Sunday. It's time for our week ahead reading for the week of May 12th to May 18th, 2025. Already getting some cards coming out. We do have the full moon in Scorpio on the 12th, which is Monday. We'll see what you need to know for that and just generally what you need to know overall. Okay, so the first two cards coming out, I have the King of Crystals and then the Page of Crystals in reverse. I feel like this is about kind of sharpening your ideas. So the Page of Crystals is maybe thinking of ideas like really, really big, broad, like so many different ideas coming. And with Page of Crystals in reverse, it's almost like, hold on, we can't just like think of like all of the things. Let's like narrow our focus with the King of Crystals. That's really what it's giving. And it's almost like, let's narrow our focus into what's going to really help us to thrive with the Nine of Stars. If you've been like really thinking about just so many different things, you feel like your mind is all over the place. This is definitely about like narrowing your focus. I see the Ace of Crystals on the bottom of the deck as well as the Ace of Stars. Okay, so yeah, narrowing your focus to kind of be like, okay, I want to be thinking, but I also need to bring it into reality, because with the Nine of Stars and the Ace of Stars, it's also very much this energy of like bringing it into fruition, like the material realm. So bringing something from like what you're just thinking about into it actually being in reality. The other thing that I'm getting with the King of Crystals and the Page of Crystals, I actually feel like this is also about people. The King of Crystals may be coming in and trying to speak about something, and the Page of Crystals maybe being like not interested in having that conversation. And I'm getting like, that's okay. So if in this case, you know, you could be either person, to be honest, but it's kind of like, look, if somebody's not interested in having a certain conversation, whether that's you don't want to have a conversation with somebody because you're used to them kind of being more in a manipulative energy, or you want to see like, do they still like, do they really mean it? That's perfectly fine. It just seems like the Page of Crystals is like not really wanting to have this conversation right now for some reason. So again, whether that's you or this other person. So if you're the one that's the King of Crystals trying to have a conversation with the Page of Crystals in reverse and they're just not receptive, then I think you just have to be like, okay, no worries. Like, we'll have to revisit this when the time is right. Yeah, Six of Stars. It's almost like on the bottom of the deck, it's telling me that you both need to be in an energy of like receptivity to this conversation in order for it to even be worth it. So if you're not interested in hearing them out right now, like that's fine. They're gonna have to wait, and if they're being serious about their communication, then they will. They'll be ready to talk to you when you're ready too. And if you are trying to be the one to communicate and like somebody is just not being receptive, then it's like there's no point. Don't try to force a conversation that's not going to be productive at this time. That's what I'm strongly getting. Okay. What do we need to know about the full moon? Anything about this full moon in Scorpio? What does this collective need to know about this full moon in Scorpio? Queen of Wands. King of Wands. Whoa. Okay. Okay. What I'm getting, especially with the Ten of Crystals on the bottom of the deck as well, there's a lot of like things coming back up that you thought that you've like found your power and healing from, that some things are going to come back up. Okay. Yeah. Strong confirmation. When my air conditioning turns on all of a sudden, it's like, yes, speak on this. Okay. So with the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, I feel like this is also just indicating that it's like, no matter who you are, just different wounds are going to be coming up for you about past relationships, past connections, and maybe also specifically things. Scorpio does rule like the reproductive region and your sacral chakra. And so especially like look at how the King and Queen of Wands look, like orange in this color scheme. Like this is very much sacral chakra energy. And it's almost like there's these wounds that are coming up. Maybe it's coming from like childhood, that especially with both the King and Queen coming out, but things that you thought that you've healed, that you're like, whoa, okay, this is it's kind of resurging. And I think that there's a few reasons for this. Sometimes it resurges so that you can like go a little bit deeper. Sometimes it resurges to remind you how far you've come and just how much work you've done so that you can really honor your own healing here and remember that like you're powerful from your healing, because the King and Queen of Wands really have so much power. And look at how like they have this like blue flame behind them. I do feel like sometimes it's a reminder that all this stuff from the past, it's almost the like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger type of vibe. I don't subscribe to that very often, but I do feel like there's something to that here. It's like, look, you walked through the harshest past in so many ways, and you did come out, and like, look at how strong you are now. And it's not to be like, oh, I'm so grateful for my trauma. It's none of that. Okay, you don't have to be grateful for your trauma, but you can be grateful for how you've come from your trauma, for how you have regained your power after your trauma. Yeah, 10 of Crystals to Page of Wands, how you got up again. You did not let it knock you down. And it just seems like it's a time to honor your journey and to like release even more of it. And trust that like all of your work is bringing you into divine alignment towards anything that you really desire. I see the Lover's card here too. Let's see if there's anything else you need to know. Anything else maybe about love for this week for my collective. Thank you, Spirit. Anything about love for this week? May 12th to 18th for this collective. Ace of Stars is here. I mean, Ace of Stars was already here. Ace of Wands. Okay, there's a lot of beginnings this week, interestingly enough. Ace of Wands, Ace of Stars, Ace of Crystals. Okay, so there, in terms of love or just maybe anything, there's like opportunities for new beginnings. But again, I'm being brought back to, I'm being brought back to this energy of the King of Crystals versus the Page of Crystals. And now I see the 4 of Crystals on the bottom of the deck and also the 8 of Stars. What it's telling me in terms of love, and I had noticed when I said Ace of Stars, it was because the Knight of Stars was on the bottom of the deck. I was just like processing too many cards at once. And I actually think that's almost the exact issue that's going on with you right now. You're processing so many different things at once right now that it's getting jumbled. Like, I literally said the wrong card because I put 2 different ideas together and it was jumbled from what the message really is supposed to be. And what I'm getting is like, you have to, like, that can first of all kind of burn you out if you're just all over the place, and instead just be like, okay, let me focus. Let me get my focus. And so maybe love isn't needing to be your focus this week. Or if love is your focus, like, make sure that you're literally like honed in on the right thing in the right time, and like not just like letting all the different aspects of your life bleed over into each other. Things feel very much like segmented this week, where it's like, okay, when you're focusing on career, focus on career. When you're focusing on love, focus on love. Kind of segment so that and compartmentalize a little bit in your mind is what I'm getting. It's a very interesting message. And otherwise it seems like you'll end up just kind of getting stuck. Hanged Man, you're almost like, because things would be jumbled, you're not even clear on what you're asking the universe, and the universe isn't clear on how you're trying to interact with the universe either. And so it's almost like you just kind of get stuck. So yeah, 5 of Wands, you almost create your own blocks if you jumble all the energy together. Okay, so almost something that could help is almost thinking about Ace of Stars, Ace of Crystals, Ace of Wands like as different silos. Like these 3 cards, there's not really space for them to like be together. They're each in their own space. And it's like, okay, I can hold this flame, or I can hold this crystal, or I can hold this star in my hand. I cannot hold all 3 of these things in my hand at the same time. So that's kind of the energy for this week of how to like proceed with the week in the best way. Like, hold one thing in your hand at one time, put it down, pick up the next thing, and that's going to help you to like be in your best like King of Crystals energy through the week, and to have the most successful week that you can have. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week.